up we have Amy Icke, who is the Online Learning and Innovation Manager who works at the Girls' Day School Trust, and she's going to talk to us about Book Club Live for sixth formers. So Amy, if you're ready, there you go.
Yes, thank you very much. My name's Amy. I used to be a school librarian and I now work across a group of schools, the GDST. I also used to be a member of the CILIP London committee, so it's really nice to see some familiar faces here this evening. And I also think this is a really lovely way of just sharing ideas informally. So it was a really nice idea to bring this into the AGM tonight. So as I said, I work for the GDST. We are a family of 25 schools across England and Wales, and our defining features, I guess, are that we are all girls' schools and that we teach girls all the way from 3 to 18. So just like everybody else, towards the end of March, our schools closed and we made the transition to guided home learning. And that was and has been a really steep learning curve for lots of our colleagues, but it has also provided some really exciting opportunities. One of the things which we feel is a selling point of being part of a group of schools is the fact that our girls can network and collaborate across school sites. And this is a really positive thing which has kind of developed over the course of having to be at home and not restricted as we are in a school environment by things like the school day and rigid timetabling. So it's allowed us to have a lot more flexibility in terms of the collaborations that we've been able to set up. And one of the collaborations which we've set up is a book club for our sixth form students. And I just wanted to share, we're fairly early on in that journey, but I just wanted to share a few thoughts on how that's gone so far and lessons that we've learned by doing that. So we started off at the start of April with the idea of launching a book club. Speakers have already talked tonight about the positives in terms of reading for pleasure and the positive effect reading has on well-being, and we really wanted to make sure that those kinds of concerns sat at the centre of our provision for girls while they were working remotely, as well as providing all of the academic support that they might need. So we launched Book Club initially as a static repository. This is just a screenshot from the virtual learning environment that we use across our schools, and we started to collate book reviews that were written by our girls, from staff and colleagues who work with me at Trust Office. We sold it to the girls as an interesting and exciting project for them to get involved with if they wanted to, say, study English at university, or they were interested in journalism. And it's really nice to be able to give them a platform where their work can be celebrated and seen by a much larger audience than just their school colleagues and peers. So as we continued to build the static library of resources, we began to promote a little bit more on Twitter, and we started to think about ways to try and meet our audience on platforms that they might be a bit more familiar with. And we also tried to get our colleagues involved. So this, as you can see, is a picture of me reading and a picture of my colleague Kathy reading. And really what we just wanted to do was to make it feel easy to contribute and accessible, and as if they were part of a community, which I think is something that is harder to do now that we can't be physically present with each other. So as our review library began to grow, we thought that we wanted to set up something that would actually be a live interaction for our girls to access. So we set up a live book club for our sixth formers, moving that from a kind of a static resource library into a much more interactive session. We decided to start for our first book to have a throwback read. We're aware that our girls have got lots of different pressures going on at the moment, and that it might also be tricky to get new reading material into the house. So we thought that if we chose a throwback read, hopefully they'd all have a copy, it wouldn't be too onerous, and it might take them back to a time in their childhood where it, from a wellbeing perspective, and where they could reflect and find a kind of a comfort in going back to those familiar reads. So this probably shows the age of our girls and my age, and the kind of the age of the audience. These are the books that made it onto the shortlist that we thought might resonate with them. I suggested the Judy Bloom, which was "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret," and that had the fewest number of votes, which made me feel really old, and as if girls just don't read that sort of stuff anymore. But those were the 5 that we came up with as a shortlist. We did a little bit of directed prompting at this point, because we thought we might not have time to read everything. We also thought that it might help just to get the conversation going if we'd already planted some seeds in terms of what they might want to read. So the girls were really engaged, and we decided on our shortlist, out of those 5 books, the shortlist came down to Harry Potter and the Hunger Games. And we decided we would decide the winner by launching an Instagram story. I'm not on Instagram, but I think almost all of our girls are. And our comms and marketing team suggested that we use this as a platform to reach our girls, because it was something, a place where they enjoy coming. So for those of you who aren't familiar like me with what an Instagram story is or why we chose that format, it's just accessible for 24 hours. So we thought it added a little bit of excitement to the voting process, as well as obviously meeting them on a familiar platform. This is just a very poor quality but video of the Instagram story. One of the real problems then with wanting to share it back, of course, is that it disappears after 24 hours. But it might just play just so you can get a sense of what we shared with our girls. And you can see there that the results show up at the end. So that was another nice way of just kind of making it a bit more competitive and to get more of the girls voting. So we announced our winner, which was, of course, Harry Potter, not a massive surprise there, in our sixth form newsletter. And as you can see just from the slide there, we're hosting our first live event next Friday. The plan is that we're going to run it on Microsoft Teams, which is a platform which all of our schools have access to. We're thinking of a 30-minute session, very much hoping for a student-led experience and for the focus to be very much on kind of well-being and what they have enjoyed about just the process of visiting an old favourite, as much as any sort of real hard reviewing of the book itself. So as I say, just early days in this project, but just wanted to share a few thoughts on setting that up. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much. Yeah, that sounds like a fantastic project, and I love the idea of the throwback. The use of Instagram was great as well with the voting. I thought that was really good. Thank you very much.